Setiap langkah dimulai dengan mimpi. Mimpi yang tak usang ingin diwujudkan. Mimpi yang selalu hidup kemarin, hari ini, dan esok. Mimpi yang terbentuk berani oleh tangan-tangan kecil kita untuk wujudkan angan-angan yang besar. Karena inilah sejatinya Indonesia. Kita tumbuh bersama sebagai bangsa, ditopang oleh mereka yang berani mengambil langkah. Keberanian yang menjalar ke setiap lubuk hati, tercipta dari jutaan mimpi tiap usaha. Dan di setiap tekad itu, kami ada. Menjadikan nyata setiap asa. Karena inilah besarnya Indonesia. Dengan ragam kisah bergema di berbagai sudutnya. Membentang dari tengah lautan, pesisir, sampai puncak tertinggi. Luasnya negeri terhubung lewat usaha dan inovasi tanpa henti, mendekatkan tiap jarak dalam genggaman. Memeluk zaman dengan segala kebaruan. Dan dari sentuhan ujung jari,
3, 2, 1.
kita melesat, menembus langit, menembus batas, tegaskan langkah menuju impian kita. Kami memupuk rasa percaya, pastikan wujud setiap mimpi yang ada. Dengan sinergi berbagai perusahaan anak, tak akan ada kata ragu untuk terus konsisten melangkah maju. Komitmen sepanjang seabad usia kami untuk terus bekerja dan berkembang demi majunya bangsa dan negara. Hingga mencapai lebih tinggi, menjadi yang terbaik. Ini adalah jalan kami untuk terus menjadi yang terdepan. Untuk bangsa dan dunia. Karena di setiap langkah yang diambil, kami meyakini pada tiap mimpi yang kami wujudkan, terbangun kekuatan bagi negeri. Sebab kami hadir untuk melayani. Menjadi sang pewujud mimpi.
Nggak bawa kartu ATM? Pakai Brimo. Tarik tunai di ATM nggak pakai kartu. Login keseruanmu, download Brimo sekarang. Brimo.
Daripada handphone kamu hanya diam tergeletak, kamu sudah coba belum menelpon teman lama dan menanyakan kabarnya?
Halo Jaya, lagi pusing soal toko.
Pernah nggak bantu posting dagangan baru teman kamu? Pernah coba belanja untuk mereka yang penting buat kamu? Semoga Hari Merdeka di tahun yang sulit ini bukan hanya jadi slogan semata, tapi jadi titik pengingat untuk saling membantu apa yang kita bisa untuk sesama. Kami akan selalu ada bersama kamu dan handphonemu. Sedikit di sini, sedikit di sana, sebagai satu bangsa, satu Indonesia.
Pagi, masker.
Indonesia. Begitu kaya akan energi yang dilahirkan dari berbagai sumber, dalam berbagai bentuk, terus menggerakkan dinamika kehidupan setiap orang, setiap hari. Pertamina terus bergerak di garis terdepan selama lebih dari 6 dekade, berkomitmen untuk terus berinovasi dalam menghadirkan energi. Konsisten memberikan yang terbaik di setiap kegiatan eksplorasi, produksi, dan mengolahnya menjadi energi terbaik yang mendunia. Mengantarkan energi secara merata ke kota hingga pelosok desa, sehingga semua dapat menikmati energi dan bergerak maju bersama. Berbagai inisiatif demi inisiatif dilakukan untuk pengembangan energi terbarukan seperti panas bumi, solar cell, biofuel, baterai lithium, bahkan energi listrik. Bersama afiliasinya, Pertamina memastikan keberlangsungan energi, menggerakkan ekonomi, dan membangun masa depan. Dan Pertamina memastikan agar energi juga tersedia untuk lingkungan, pendidikan, kesehatan, dan pemberdayaan masyarakat. Pertamina percaya bahwa setiap inovasi berkelanjutan adalah langkah menuju energi kemajuan. Pertamina adalah energi, penggerak kemajuan di setiap sisi kehidupan.
Sukses itu sederhana. Kuncinya jangan gagal. Setiap orang punya jatahnya masing-masing. Premium 10 liter, Mas. Jika hasil tak sesuai harapan,
bahan bakar tidak sesuai,
tetap konsisten.
oktan terlalu rendah, oktan terlalu rendah.
Ayo, load aja, Mbak.
Please deh.
Kalau mau mobil hebat, pilih BBM sehat yang oktannya tepat. Kayak saya.
Anak baru, sini. Aku mau nomor kamu now. Maksud saya nomor rekening, memang kamu nggak mau gajian?
Belum punya.
Bikin dong, now.
Zaman now, buka tabungan, tinggal scan aja. Terus, ikuti langkah-langkah gampangnya. Gak pakai download app, jadi gak boros kuota, apalagi memori.
Nomor HP kamu?
Butuh buka tabungan now.
Saatnya mandiri.
Dapat tuh. Tinggal satu bro, harus bayar now. Tapi pakai rekening mandiri, gua adanya cash.
Scan now aja.
Bro, scan now. Zaman now, buka tabungan, tinggal scan aja. Terus, ikuti langkah-langkah gampangnya. Gak pakai download app, jadi gak boros kuota, apalagi memori.
Helm lu kok beda? Sengaja, beli promo dapat 2.
Butuh buka tabungan now.
Saatnya mandiri.
Namanya pekerjaan pasti ada risikonya. Tapi gak perlu lebay juga untuk perlindungan kerjanya. Ada cara yang lebih mudah. Miliki perlindungan kerja dari BP Jam Sostek. Namanya pekerjaan pasti ada risikonya. Tapi gak perlu lebay juga untuk perlindungan kerjanya. Ada cara yang lebih mudah. Miliki perlindungan kerja dari BP Jam Sostek.
Aku kerja di Exxon Mobil mulai tahun 2007 sampai sekarang. Interesting buat saya karena saya belum pernah bekerja di lapangan. Sekarang Bojonegoro beda banget dan aku bangga jadi bagian dari perubahan itu. Semoga kegiatanku ini bisa bikin generasi lebih baik. Karena aku suka anak-anak dan aku seneng ngeliat mereka bisa sukses.
Saya tinggal bersama ibu aja. Bapak sudah meninggal waktu masih kecil. Waktu saya masih remaja, saya membantu orang tua saya di sawah. Di situ saya harus bekerja keras, disiplin, dan jujur. Sekarang saya bekerja di Exxon Mobil Indonesia yang membantu pertumbuhan ekonomi. Dari sini saya belajar hal-hal yang baru dan mendapatkan kesempatan untuk menjadi yang lebih baik. Apa yang saya tanam, saya akan tuai di masa depan.
Setiap langkah dimulai dengan mimpi. Mimpi yang tak usang ingin diwujudkan. Mimpi yang selalu hidup kemarin, hari ini, dan esok. Mimpi yang terbentuk berani oleh tangan-tangan kecil kita untuk wujudkan angan-angan yang besar. Karena inilah sejatinya Indonesia. Kita tumbuh bersama sebagai bangsa, ditopang oleh mereka yang berani mengambil langkah. Keberanian yang menjalar ke setiap lubuk hati, tercipta dari jutaan mimpi tiap usaha. Dan di setiap tekad itu, kami ada. Menjadikan nyata setiap asa. Karena inilah besarnya Indonesia. Dengan ragam kisah bergema di berbagai sudutnya. Membentang dari tengah lautan, pesisir, sampai puncak tertinggi. Luasnya negeri terhubung lewat usaha dan inovasi tanpa henti. Mendekatkan tiap jarak dalam genggaman. Memeluk zaman dengan segala kebaruan. Dan dari sentuhan ujung jari,
3, 2, 1.
Kita melesat, menembus langit, menembus batas, tegaskan langkah menuju impian kita. Kami memupuk rasa percaya. Pastikan wujud setiap mimpi yang ada. Dengan sinergi berbagai perusahaan anak, tak akan ada kata ragu untuk terus konsisten melangkah maju. Komitmen sepanjang seabad usia kami untuk terus bekerja dan berkembang. demi majunya bangsa dan negara. Hingga mencapai lebih tinggi, menjadi yang terbaik. Ini adalah jalan kami untuk terus menjadi yang terdepan. Untuk bangsa dan dunia. Karena di setiap langkah yang diambil, kami meyakini pada tiap mimpi yang kami wujudkan, terbangun kekuatan bagi negeri. Sebab kami hadir untuk melayani. Menjadi sang pewujud mimpi.
Nggak bawa kartu ATM? Pakai Brimo. Tarik tunai di ATM nggak pakai kartu. Login keseruanmu, download Brimo sekarang. Brimo.
Daripada handphone kamu hanya diam tergeletak, kamu sudah coba belum menelpon teman lama dan menanyakan kabarnya?
Halo Jaya. Lagi pusing soal toko.
Pernah nggak bantu posting dagangan baru teman kamu? Pernah coba belanja untuk mereka yang penting buat kamu? Semoga Hari Merdeka di tahun yang sulit ini bukan hanya jadi slogan semata, tapi jadi titik pengingat untuk saling membantu apa yang kita bisa untuk sesama. Kami akan selalu ada bersama kamu dan handphonemu. Sedikit di sini, sedikit di sana, sebagai satu bangsa, satu Indonesia.
Pagi, masker.
Indonesia begitu kaya akan energi yang dilahirkan dari berbagai sumber dalam berbagai bentuk, terus menggerakkan dinamika kehidupan setiap orang setiap hari. Pertamina terus bergerak di garis terdepan selama lebih dari 6 dekade, berkomitmen untuk terus berinovasi dalam menghadirkan energi. Konsisten memberikan yang terbaik di setiap kegiatan eksplorasi, produksi, dan mengolahnya menjadi energi terbaik yang mendunia. Mengantarkan energi secara merata ke kota hingga pelosok desa, sehingga semua dapat menikmati energi dan bergerak maju bersama. Berbagai inisiatif demi inisiatif dilakukan untuk pengembangan energi terbarukan seperti panas bumi, solar cell, biofuel, baterai lithium, bahkan energi listrik. Bersama afiliasinya, Pertamina memastikan keberlangsungan energi, menggerakkan ekonomi, dan membangun masa depan. Dan Pertamina memastikan agar energi juga tersedia untuk lingkungan, pendidikan, kesehatan, dan pemberdayaan masyarakat. Pertamina percaya bahwa setiap inovasi berkelanjutan adalah langkah menuju energi kemajuan. Pertamina adalah energi, penggerak kemajuan di setiap sisi kehidupan.
Sukses itu sederhana. Kuncinya jangan gagal. Setiap orang punya jatahnya masing-masing. Premium 10 liter, Mas. Jika hasil tak sesuai harapan,
Bakar tidak sesuai.
tetap konsisten.
Oktan terlalu rendah. Oktan terlalu rendah.
Ayo, load aja, Mbak.
Please deh.
Kalau mau mobil hebat, pilih BBM sehat yang oktannya tepat. Kayak saya.
Anak baru, sini. Aku mau nomor kamu now. Maksud saya nomor rekening. Memang kamu nggak mau gajian?
Belum punya.
Bikin dong. Now.
Zaman now, buka tabungan, tinggal scan aja. Terus, ikuti langkah-langkah gampangnya. Gak pakai download app, jadi gak boros kuota, apalagi memori.
Nomor HP kamu?
Butuh buka tabungan now.
Saatnya mandiri.
Yeah, dapat. Tinggal satu bro, harus bayar now. Tapi pakai rekening mandiri, gua adanya cash.
Scan now aja.
Bro, scan now. Zaman now, buka tabungan, tinggal scan aja. Terus, ikuti langkah-langkah gampangnya. Gak pakai download app, jadi nggak boros kuota, apalagi memori.
Helm lu kok beda? Sengaja, beli promo dapat 2.
Butuh buka tabungan now.
Saatnya mandiri.
Namanya pekerjaan pasti ada risikonya. Tapi gak perlu lebay juga untuk perlindungan kerjanya. Ada cara yang lebih mudah. Miliki perlindungan kerja dari BP Jam Sostek. Namanya pekerjaan pasti ada risikonya. Tapi gak perlu lebay juga untuk perlindungan kerjanya. Ada cara yang lebih mudah. Miliki perlindungan kerja dari BP Jam Sostek.
Aku kerja di Exxon Mobil mulai tahun 2007 sampai sekarang. Interesting buat saya karena saya belum pernah bekerja di lapangan. Sekarang Bojonegoro beda banget dan aku bangga jadi bagian dari perubahan itu. Semoga kegiatanku ini bisa bikin generasi lebih baik. Karena aku suka anak-anak dan aku seneng ngeliat mereka bisa sukses.
Saya tinggal bersama ibu aja. Bapak sudah meninggal waktu masih kecil. Waktu saya masih remaja, saya membantu orang tua saya di sawah. Di situ saya harus bekerja keras, disiplin, dan jujur. Sekarang saya bekerja di Exxon Mobil Indonesia yang membantu pertumbuhan ekonomi. Dari sini saya belajar hal-hal yang baru dan mendapatkan kesempatan untuk menjadi yang lebih baik. Apa yang saya tanam, saya akan tuai di masa depan.
Setiap langkah dimulai dengan mimpi. Mimpi yang tak usang ingin diwujudkan. Mimpi yang selalu hidup kemarin, hari ini, dan esok. Mimpi yang terbentuk berani oleh tangan-tangan kecil kita untuk wujudkan angan-angan yang besar. Karena inilah sejatinya Indonesia. Kita tumbuh bersama sebagai bangsa, ditopang oleh mereka yang berani mengambil langkah. Keberanian yang menjalar ke setiap lubuk hati. Tercipta dari jutaan mimpi tiap usaha. Dan di setiap tekad itu, kami ada. Menjadikan nyata setiap asa. Karena inilah besarnya Indonesia. Dengan ragam kisah bergema di berbagai sudutnya. Membentang dari tengah lautan, pesisir, sampai puncak tertinggi, Luasnya negeri terhubung lewat usaha dan inovasi tanpa henti, mendekatkan tiap jarak dalam genggaman. Memeluk zaman dengan segala kebaruan. Dan dari sentuhan ujung jari,
3, 2, 1.
Kita melesat, menembus langit, menembus batas, tegaskan langkah menuju impian kita. Kami memupuk rasa percaya, pastikan wujud setiap mimpi yang ada. Dengan sinergi berbagai perusahaan anak, tak akan ada kata ragu untuk terus konsisten melangkah maju. Komitmen sepanjang seabad usia kami untuk terus bekerja dan berkembang demi majunya bangsa dan negara. Hingga mencapai lebih tinggi, menjadi yang terbaik. Ini adalah jalan kami untuk terus menjadi yang terdepan. Untuk bangsa dan dunia. Karena di setiap langkah yang diambil, kami meyakini pada tiap mimpi yang kami wujudkan, terbangun kekuatan bagi negeri. Sebab kami hadir untuk melayani. Menjadi sang pewujud mimpi.
Nggak bawa kartu ATM? Pakai Brimo. Tarik tunai di ATM nggak pakai kartu. Login keseruanmu, download Brimo sekarang.
Daripada handphone kamu hanya diam tergeletak, kamu sudah coba belum menelpon teman lama dan menanyakan kabarnya?
Halo Jaya. Lagi pusing soal toko.
Pernah nggak bantu posting dagangan baru teman kamu? Pernah coba belanja untuk mereka yang penting buat kamu? Semoga Hari Merdeka di tahun yang sulit ini bukan hanya jadi slogan semata, tapi jadi titik pengingat untuk saling membantu apa yang kita bisa untuk sesama. Kami akan selalu ada bersama kamu dan handphonemu. Sedikit di sini, sedikit di sana, sebagai satu bangsa, satu Indonesia.
Pagi, masker.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon to all participants. Welcome to the last day of the Indonesia Human Capital Digital Conference 2020. Well, my name is Empi Putri and I will be your MC for today's conference. Before we start, we would like to remind you notes at the bottom ribbon of your Zoom application. For participants who wish to ask questions, please put your question on Q&A box. Once again, for participants who wish to ask question, please put your question on Q&A box. We would like to convey our warm gratitude to our sponsors. PT Bank Rakyat Indonesia Persero Tbk as Platinum Sponsor, PT Telkomsel, PT Bank Mandiri Persero Tbk, PT Pertamina Persero as Gold Sponsor, BP Jam Sostek as Silver Sponsor, Exxon Mobil Cepu Limited as co-sponsor, and as well Kata Data, Infobank, Majalah Tambang, SWA, 18news.id, and merahputih.com as our media partners. We would like to thank Moratelindo as our official internet partner, And also we would like to thank Indonesia Certified HR Community and also HR Migas Community for supporting this conference. And this event proudly presented and organized by US.ASIA. Continuing yesterday's event, without further ado, we will start the session. And we would like to invite Bapak Heru Kautsar as moderator for sharing knowledge session. To Bapak Heru Kautsar, the Zoom floor is yours.
Yes, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mbak Putri, and good afternoon to all participants. Please allow me, Heru Kautsar, to be your moderator in this last but still inspiring knowledge sharing session with the topic of continuous performance management and mobile learning in a new normal. Well, as we all know that the current situation has put us forward to a situation that maybe many of us were previously, maybe we were planning for this, but maybe most of us or some of us didn't actually see this coming. I remember that earlier this year, remote working, remote learning were not the hype of the year. And then suddenly we are on the boat. We are on that boat. And coming the end of the year is usually our periodic performance review cycle, which most companies doing it in quarterly sessions. Now, I believe that this pandemic situation would also put us on a different perspective about periodic performance review cycle. Now, for our topic for today, I would like to warmly welcome our distinguished speakers. That would be Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya, the Director of Compliance and Human Capital Bank Mandiri. And then we are going to also have Ms. Dina Ding, Head of Alliance and Partnerships Asia, Cornerstone on Demand. Each of our speakers will share their experience and expertise. But I am also being informed that unfortunately, Pak Agus Dwi Handaya won't be able to join our conversation today, so that his presentation would be a pre-recorded one. But the next speaker will be live presentation. And before we start, I would like to remind our participants for the QA session, please write your question in the QA box at the bottom ribbon of on your Zoom application. Don't forget to put the question with the format, maybe name, your company, and then asking to who, and then the question, so that we could address your questions properly. Now, let us start with our first pre-recorded presentation from our speaker, Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya. But first, I would like to read you his short profile. Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya was born in Medan on 17 August 1970. Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya was appointed as member board of directors since March 2018, handling compliance and human capital. He received an undergraduate degree from Universitas Sumatera Utara and the MBA from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. Agus Dwi Handaya were Senior Executive Vice President Finance, Planning and Transformation Bank Mandiri in 2017-2018, Senior Vice President Office of CEO Bank Mandiri in 2016-2017, Managing Director Finance and Strategy Bank Syariah Mandiri in 2014-2016, and Group Head Strategy and Performance Bank Mandiri in 2010 and 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, our first presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera, salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Puji syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena dengan izinnya kita semua dapat berkumpul bersama di hari ini dalam keadaan sehat, meskipun harus secara virtual. Mengawali pertemuan pada hari ini, saya ingin minta maaf karena tidak dapat hadir langsung di acara Indonesia Human Digital Conference 2020. karena pada saat yang bersamaan kami sedang melakukan rapat kerja nasional. Terima kasih juga karena Bank Mandiri diberikan kesempatan untuk memaparkan bagaimana kami menjalankan performance management dan shifting digital learning di new era. Seperti yang diketahui, Bank Mandiri ini lahir dari proses merger di tahun 1998 dan alhamdulillah perkembangannya hingga saat ini sangat progresif, terutama karena didorong oleh proses transformasi yang berkelanjutan. Kami di Bank Mandiri tidak mengenal kata puas, selalu embrace perubahan, mencoba menggunakan berbagai new tools, new approach, baik yang berbasis best practice maupun future practice. Selalu think again, think ahead, dan think across. Jika dulu di tahun 1998 aset kami hanya 248 triliun, saat ini kami sudah membukukan aset di angka 1.318 triliun. Dari sisi laba, jika di awalnya hanya sekitar 2 triliun, sekarang di posisi akhir tahun 2019, kami berhasil membukukan laba 27,5 triliun. Alhamdulillah dengan pencapaian tersebut secara bertahap kami berhasil memimpin pangsa perbankan Indonesia. Ini tentunya membanggakan, namun pencapaian tersebut tidaklah membuat kami berpuas diri karena masih banyak agenda-agenda transformasi dan kelemahan yang harus terus kami perbaiki. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, industri perbankan saat ini tidak luput dari dampak pandemi COVID-19. Malah mungkin menjadi sektor yang paling terdampak karena core business chain-nya berasal dari sektor real yang langsung terkena dampak COVID-19. Beberapa indikator kinerja perbankan nasional yang mengalami tantangan berkaitan dengan kondisi COVID saat ini bisa kita lihat dari pertumbuhan kredit yang menurun. Dulu double digit, sekarang hanya tinggal single digit. Peningkatan non-performing loan, penurunan NIM karena banyaknya kredit-kredit yang harus direstru. Persaingan dana pihak ketiga dengan adanya flight to quality, peningkatan BOPO seiring dengan peningkatan biaya CKPN dan juga biaya operasional menghadapi COVID. Tantangan di masa pandemi tersebut melengkapi tantangan di periode-periode sebelumnya. Mulai dari turbulensi, globalisasi, era disrupsi digital yang merubah bisnis model, hadirnya pesaing-pesaing yang berasal bukan dari sektor perbankan, tetapi dengan produk dan layanan mirip perbankan yang sangat agresif dan sangat masif. Tantangan ini ternyata ada sisi positifnya juga. Tantangan ini memaksa kami untuk semakin cepat dan cepat melakukan penyesuaian. Harus semakin cepat membentuk dan menghasilkan talent. Apalagi saat ini banyak talent Bank Mandiri yang harus keluar dari Bank Mandiri karena mendapat kepercayaan sebagai pejabat strategis baik itu BOC, BOD, BOD Minus One, di berbagai BUMN, institusi pemerintah, maupun korporasi swasta. Jumlahnya saat ini kurang lebih sekitar ada 200 orang yang bekerja di berbagai institusi tersebut. Nah, untuk menjawab tantangan tersebut, kami ingin memastikan seluruh program, seluruh aktivitas pengembangan human capital di Bank Mandiri mencakup semua hal yang komprehensif. Karena itulah kami menggunakan human capital arsitektur yang terdiri dari beberapa layer, yang menggambarkan bagaimana kami mendeliver program maupun strategi untuk menyempurnakan dan memperbaiki aspek di setiap layer tersebut. Layer pertama, kami mengkampanyekan fondasi pengembangan human capital Mandiri berbasis purpose, keterpanggilan untuk kebaikan, dengan dilandasi oleh budaya akhlak, amanah, kompeten, harmonis, loyal, adaptif, dan kolaboratif. Sehingga pada akhirnya Bank Mandiri bisa menjadi tempat bekerja yang memberikan kesempatan kepada pegawainya untuk terus belajar, terus bertumbuh, bersinergi, dan sehingga dapat berkontribusi bagi Mandiri dan Indonesia. Layer kedua, kami terus mencoba memberikan employee experience life cycle yang kondusif, mulai dari bagaimana organisasi disusun, pegawai direkrut, onboarding, pegawai dikembangkan, hingga exit strategi. Di layer ketiga adalah human capital platform sebagai surrounding support system dalam bentuk operating model, teknologi, data analitik, serta penguatan leadership yang menjalankan platform tersebut sesuai dengan strategi daripada perusahaan. Hari ini sesuai dengan talking points yang dimintakan, saya akan berfokus kepada dua hal dalam employee experience life cycle, yaitu dari sisi learning dan development, serta performance management yang kami jalankan di Bank Mandiri. Untuk aspek learning dalam rangka pengembangan kompetensi, ada 3 strategi utama yang kami lakukan. Pertama, memperkuat peran leader sebagai people manager. Kedua, mempersiapkan sarana pembelajaran yang cepat melalui learning by doing. Dan yang ketiga adalah melakukan modernisasi dan menyesuaikan tool-tool serta kebijakan. Untuk strategi pertama, kami menyiapkan berbagai program dan tools agar para leader dapat menuntun tim atau subordinate-nya. Menuntun dalam artian bagaimana talent-talent kami, leader-leader kami mempunyai skill yang baik untuk understanding others, untuk teach dan guide others, dan motivate others dengan baik. Visi kami tidak saja menjadikan Mandirian tangguh untuk mengontrol, mengeksekusi strategi, deliver the result, make things happen, tetapi juga piawai dalam membangun tim dan create leaders. Untuk aspek performance management, kami melakukan penilaian pegawai tidak saja atas dasar pencapaian hasil kinerja, tetapi juga perilaku leadership serta nilai budaya yang tercermin dari proses yang dilakukan dalam mencapai hasil. Proses dan hasil sama pentingnya. Untuk level manajerial, penilaian tersebut dengan menggunakan metode 360 degree yang melibatkan multi-raters seperti peers, internal stakeholders dari unit lain, hingga subordinate. Dan kemudian hasil daripada 360 degree ini dikalibrasi dan divalidasi oleh komite penilaian. Dalam konteks performance management untuk unit, kami juga memasukkan HC score sebagai KPI unit kerja. HC score mencakup 4 elemen utama yang diukur, yaitu pelaksanaan dialog antara leader dengan para pegawainya dalam rangka pengembangan pegawai. Yang kedua, keharusan menyusun individual development plan secara kustomisasi untuk masing-masing individu. Yang ketiga adalah kami memberikan kebebasan, tetapi pegawai harus memilih dan mengikuti training minimal 3 modul. Dan elemen yang keempat adalah kewajiban pimpinan unit untuk mengajar, menurunkan ilmu dan pengalamannya kepada para anggota timnya melalui program Leaders Teachers. Dalam rangka transformasi budaya yang berkelanjutan, performance management di Bank Mandiri juga menjadi salah satu pilar sebagai reinforcement atau yang kami sebut aspek guide me, menuntun dengan tujuan bagaimana pegawai bisa melakukan perubahan mindset dan perilaku untuk benar-benar fokus kepada budaya berbasis kinerja atau performance based culture. Pilar Guide Me ini melengkapi 3 pilar lagi. Yang pertama adalah pilar Tell Me, mengkampanyekan, pilar Show Me, menjadi role model, dan pilar Teach Me, mengajarkan. Sehingga kesemuanya ini secara terintegrasi, secara kebersamaan, membangun yang namanya smell of the place atau bahasa sederhananya aura dan suasana organisasi yang memiliki strong performance based culture. Strategi kedua adalah kecepatan, akselerasi, speed. Bagaimana kita bisa menghasilkan talent secepat-cepatnya. Tentunya kita sadari lahirnya talent-talent terbaik Bank Mandiri tidak terlepas dari sejarah Bank Mandiri yang lahir dari 4 legacy yang mengalami permasalahan. Historis tersebut menjadikan Bank Mandiri memiliki sense of urgency yang tinggi untuk terus memperbaiki diri dan melakukan transformasi di berbagai level maupun berbagai bidang. Bank Mandiri menjadi sangat terbuka untuk think ahead, think across, belajar dan berguru untuk terus melakukan perubahan, baik dengan menggunakan best practice maupun future practice. Proses transformasi yang berkelanjutan inilah yang secara unconsciously mendidik dan melatih para talent Bank Mandiri saat ini. Menyadari hal tersebut, kami sekarang menstruktur agar proses transformasi tersebut bisa menjadi sarana belajar dan berlatih yang cepat dan tepat bagi para talent kami dengan kami kemas melalui 5 program utama. Program pertama adalah development dialog atau di luar sana sering disebut coaching walaupun tidak terlalu mirip. Karena untuk development dialog fokusnya adalah bagaimana leader menginvestasikan waktunya untuk berkomunikasi, berdialog rutin dengan para talent untuk mempercepat cascade skill, memberikan feedback untuk perbaikan, merancang program pengembangan individu, bahkan mencari solusi bersama dalam mengatasi tantangan ataupun permasalahan yang dihadapi dalam daily activities. Program kedua adalah practical learning melalui penugasan proyek, magang, penugasan di anak perusahaan. Program ini sifatnya betul-betul real menghadapi tantangan, sehingga talent dilatih memiliki kemandirian untuk menghadapi dan mengurai kompleksitas. Program ketiga adalah bagaimana kami menyiapkan successor dan onboarding program yang lengkap, praktikal, dan tepat untuk para successor. Sehingga successor yang mendapat jabatan baru bisa langsung bertugas dengan efektif, memperpendek masa adaptasinya. Program keempat adalah mempercepat pengayaan practical exposure para talent dengan percepatan rotasi, mutasi, job swap maupun talent swap. Kemudian program yang kelima adalah mendesain ulang seluruh learning classroom dengan materi-materi yang berbasis active learning seperti studi kasus, project maupun experiment based learning, sehingga diharapkan para talent setelah mengikuti learning, training tidak hanya tahu tetapi juga segera mampu untuk memberikan impact di dalam pekerjaan sehari-hari. Namun demikian kami juga menyadari bahwa secanggih dan selengkap apapun tools yang kami siapkan akan percuma apabila Mandirian tidak memiliki mindset pembelajar tangguh. Karena belajar itu mengkonsumsi energi, waktu, dan perhatian yang tidak sedikit dan butuh konsistensi, tetapi juga menjadikannya rentan untuk lelah dan membosankan. Untuk bisa belajar cepat, belajar terus-menerus, dan belajar menghasilkan impact, menurut saya memang membutuhkan apa yang saya sebut energi dan keterpanggilan tinggi. Jika tidak memiliki hal ini, maka pembelajaran cenderung lambat, bahkan mungkin gagal. Karena itulah di Bank Mandiri kami terus mengkampanyekan, menanamkan, menginternalisasikan budaya dan mindset Mandirian pembelajar tangguh. Intinya adalah menekankan bahwa learning adalah urusan hidup dan mati semua pegawai. Harus ada sense of urgency. Karena menurut saya, yang akan bisa bertahan adalah yang mampu beradaptasi. Tapi, bagaimana mungkin kita bisa beradaptasi apabila kita tidak terus-menerus belajar untuk mengantisipasi dan embrace dengan perubahan. Yang kedua, belajar itu adalah tanggung jawab pribadi. Memang perusahaan bertanggung jawab untuk menyediakan sarana, program, dan fasilitas. Tetapi menggunakan sarana tersebut dengan sebaik-baiknya, dengan seoptimalnya merupakan tanggung jawab dan keterpanggilan masing-masing pribadi. Setiap pegawai harus bisa belajar di mana saja, apa saja, dan kapan saja. Harus mau. Jangan ada mental block untuk belajar karena alasan umur, alasan gender, atau alasan latar belakang pendidikan. Dan yang terakhir yang kami tanamkan adalah mindset bahwa seorang Mandirian itu harus bisa humble. Tidak boleh merasa paling pintar, paling hebat, paling menguasai, sehingga punya keterbukaan untuk belajar dari siapa saja, as long as pembelajaran tersebut membantu kita, melengkapi kita untuk bisa berkontribusi dengan lebih maksimal. Strategi yang ketiga adalah bagaimana kami menyiapkan digital learning. Sekali lagi, sehingga pegawai bisa belajar di mana saja, kapan saja, dan apa saja, dan dengan siapa saja. Kami menyediakan berbagai platform dengan puluhan ribu modul, beberapa learning platform, dan seluruh pegawai memiliki akses untuk dapat melakukan pembelajaran. Pegawai dapat memilih modul dan media yang diminatinya, yang sesuai dengan learning style masing-masing pegawai. Mungkin ada yang senang belajar yang lewat video, ada yang senang belajar yang ngikutin webinar, ada yang senang lebih bagus membaca e-book, dan sebagainya. Kami sediakan semuanya, keragamannya. Beberapa event learning seperti Learning Carnival, Talks Executive Leadership, juga kami desain agar ambience-nya lebih segar, lebih kekinian, lebih fresh, dengan menggunakan virtual stage, dengan aksesoris entertainment lainnya, sehingga belajar secara virtual menjadi lebih menyenangkan. Di Bank Mandiri kami menyediakan channel pembelajaran yang beragam, baik yang sifatnya synchronous maupun asynchronous. Yang synchronous learning dilaksanakan dan diikuti oleh semua pegawai secara real time dalam bentuk banquet podcast, masterclass, top executive leader session, Mandiri Learning Carnival, dan berbagai program, termasuk juga HC Learning Series. Sedangkan yang asynchronous learning dilaksanakan diikuti secara self-guided oleh peserta dalam bentuk e-learning internal dan eksternal menggunakan platform Mandiri Easy, LinkedIn maupun Skillsoft. Bapak Ibu sekalian, demikianlah sedikit gambaran bagaimana kami membangun employee experience life cycle dari sisi performance management dan mendeliver new ways of learning. Masih jauh dari sempurna dan masih membutuhkan perbaikan. Namun intinya adalah bagaimana kami di Bank Mandiri selalu menyiapkan merefresh program-program pengembangan individu dengan inovasi program yang cepat dan efektif yang pada akhirnya ditujukan untuk menjadikan Mandirian yang super happy, super produktif agar bisnis Bank Mandiri bisa sustainable. Terima kasih atas perhatian Bapak Ibu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Agus Dwi Handaya. That was very wonderful. Ada there is three things that I would like to maybe highlight. Challenges has made Bank Mandiri to be even more striving, finding new smart ways to survive, but also growing with strength. Three strategies for Mandirian. They are leaders as people manager, learning by doing, which is the speed learning, modern digital learning program, and the last one would be every Mandirians are humble learner. Okay, so that would be Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya presentation. And now we will have our second speaker. I would like to introduce us to Ms. Dina Ding, the head of Alliance and Partnerships Asia, Cornerstone on Demand. So Dina Ding leads the alliance function for Cornerstone Asia. She shapes the partner strategy and helps Cornerstone to win, maintain, and expand relationships with channel partners in Asia region. She is responsible for achieving sales, profitability, and partner recruitment objectives. She has been working for Cornerstone for more than 9 years in different positions and locations with extensive talent management industry expertise, deep Cornerstone product knowledge, and sales experiences across the region. So I believe Ms. Dina is already be here. Ms. Dina, we are very eager to hear you share your knowledge with us. So would you please take the stage with you?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, very much, very clear.
Great. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I don't speak Bahasa, but I have been actually Jakarta a lot, and I really like Indonesia. I'm a diver, really like the country. Hope the pandemic will finish soon, and then I can visit the country again. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, and very honored to be invited here. We all know 2020 is a turbulent year due to the global pandemic. Everyone's life and work has been impacted dramatically. Some of the changes in our lives and our work may be permanent. Therefore, some of the changes that the companies need to conduct, excuse me, and organizations are forced to pivot and adapt, as well as to be reminded about what matters the most. Uncertainty has been a theme the past year, and the HR industry has stepped up to the challenge of dealing with organization-wide changes and realize the change is constant. We know one thing is not changing, is that you need to continuously help your organization to grow your employees in the new world of work. My name is Dina Ding. Thank you for the introduction. I lead the Alliance and Partnership division for Cornerstone Asia. I'm very excited to have this opportunity to have a discussion with all of you regarding the topic of continuous performance culture and mobile and micro-learning in the new norm in this breakout session. Cornerstone is a world-leading premier performance people development company. We deliver we believe people can achieve anything when they have the right development and growth opportunities. We offer organizations the technology, content, expertise, and specialized focus to help them realize the potential of their people, featuring comprehensive recruiting, personalized learning, modern training content, development-driven performance management, and holistic employee data management and insights. Cornerstone's people management solution are used by approximately 6,300 clients of all sizes, spanning more than 75 million users across over 180 countries and nearly 50 languages. As a people management solution provider, our HR function is also constantly evolving and leveraging our own expertise to predict the trends in HR and make changes in our HR policies. When I received the invitation to speak in this event, I was preparing my deck and I received the email from our HR regarding the change of our own performance process. As you can see, the subject of the email is called transitioning to annual review to quarterly conversations. We have using our own platform to conduct performance reviews across the company globally for many years. And if you do remember, nobody really is happy when they receive a performance review notification. We have been innovating and include continuous feedback as part of the performance workflow for many years. But this is the first time that we officially replace our annual performance review process with much shorter quality development conversations. This will end our HR practice with annual review with ratings. Instead, we'll have more meaningful development-focused conversation with our managers. The conversations will include discussion of our achievements, area of continued growth, and proposed next steps. This change was not only just impacted by current situation with the pandemic, but also based on the regular employee surveys we have conducted throughout the year. This will allow the manager really focus on providing just-in-time feedback on immediate development needs or achievements. And as employees, we will have higher engagement and more clear direction on our career progress and directions. About 32% of company is actually considering defer or change the traditional performance process this year due to the COVID impact. Performance management has been undergoing an evolution for many years, but this accelerated in 2020 as many managers and their teams transitioning to being primarily remote. I think Indonesia also got an impact as well, many people working from home. Embracing this continuous feedback via activities like regular check-ins are proven tools to foster communication and driving engagement in the virtual environment. Let's look at some numbers, right? 85% employees are feeling like this today. And this engagement will manifest itself like leaving early, getting sick, being overworked, taking longer breaks, lower productivity. Ultimately, the way people feel translates to the way they treat others. And then when they are facing created a bad customer experience, and that is definitely a huge no-no that our organization that don't want to face. As a direct impact of COVID-19, according to a Society for Human Resource Management survey of 2,000 employees, over 2,000 employees, 2 in 3 employees saying that maintaining employee morale is a challenge. Sorry, 2 in 3 employers. And then the same research from SHRM notes that 71% of employers say adapting to remote work has been difficult, and 83% of employers claim that they are adjusting their business practice in light of the pandemic. Where the long-term ramifications are still unclear, work has changed for the foreseeable future. As a direct impact of COVID-19, 53% of the employees said working from home has a negative impact to their mental health. According to a Society of Human Resource Management, this is the number that we have to be really consider in your HR practice, and how to really maintain the engagement and healthy mental wellness is become a very top topic for HR practitioners to implement in the organization. Yeah, we can see that employees are struggling as well. Remote work has caused morale, mental health, and ultimately the employee engagement. 78% of the employees said being recognized motivates them in the job. And this really makes us reverse engineering our performance review. Was our traditional process helping with employee motivation? According to the Gallup, only 14% of employees strongly agree their performance review inspired them to improve. In other words, if the performance review is the vaccine of COVID, it will not be passing FDA approval. It's not going to be effective. Probably doing more harm than good. So here is the real question. What do we do wrong? And how should we do it better? There are many reasons why traditional performance review is not working. One particular reason is that many managers are not trained to do so. The performance reviews are simply used for promotion, compensation review, or justify future hiring, rather than focus on how to help the employee to get better at their jobs. Therefore, there were never frequent conversation between managers and employees. Effective coaching requires understanding an employee beyond their performance numbers and the limited observation made by managers. And that means having real conversations. And that means having a good performance management system can reward people who help others and do good solo work, and not punish the free riders and backstabbers. Therefore, companies and organizations need to invest in employee engagement, because continued engagement is the key to retain employees and talent. And engagement isn't just good for retaining employees, but it's also good for business. We can see 2.4K USD increased in profits per employee per year, and 26 over year in annual company revenue within companies investing in employee engagement. Some of the investment is coming from process change management, and some investment is coming from technology. A performance management system that allows you to flexibly design your company's continuous performance workflows and help the employees to track and identify the development areas is essential. For example, Cornerstone system allows the managers and employees visualize their individual objectives and key results and track them throughout the year. This is a very popular concept of OKR. The visibility allows manager and employees to have constant conversation based on the process and the document the conversation for next steps. The system will allow you to set flexible process to conduct regular formal check-ins or just ad hoc updates, and eventually evaluate with the rating if that is still required in certain workflows like performance reviews. The managers and employees can understand their contribution towards the big picture success as well, leveraging the cascaded KPI or OKR structures to ensure that everyone is working towards the right direction. As we discussed before, real conversation is the key to transform our performance process to be more meaningful to the employees. Therefore, a few conversations a year may not even be enough and move the needle. The conversation between managers and employees should be in a more frequent manner, and both sides should be able to track and execute the discussed items throughout the year. System can help to coach the manager becoming a coach as well by providing several templates. Of course, the templates can be configured by the HR team, HR policies, and get through the managers to have those conversations comfortably and evenly may even create a better template between the manager and employee themselves. And KPI goals can also easily pull into the conversation, and ultimately development plan can be discussed and form the tweak while the conversation is ongoing. This gives managers and employees more flexibility to follow their own time format, which may be more relevant to the work being done with both the managers and employees. The system should not only support the one-on-one coaching or check-in format, but should also support more crowdsourcing feedback. The team should be able to collaborate and recognize each other, even outside the reporting lines. Across functions and teams, people should be able to provide feedback and recognize each other in real time. They should celebrate their achievements with some gamifications. I've seen a lot of Indonesian company actually still using some badges as a part of the engagement games, but some company actually using physical badges they put on the wall to the employee. Then the system can actually provide some instant feedback and record the feedback as part of these achievements virtually, and really help the employee engage in real time. And the productivity will be boosted accordingly. This is a part of this cornerstone culture as well. We actually constantly remind our employees to appreciate each other and give each other badges. And it's a really great way, and it goes a long way as well. The system should not only support the one-on-one coaching or checking the format, but then we have seen several kind of format and then feedback that the different kind of format you can organize in your organization. But then we also have seen workflows that you can leverage for your continuous performance design. But these are most important step is actually follow up to help the employee not only understand how to get better at their current jobs, but how to be qualified for their next career move. As you can see, 90% of the executives understand the importance of employee engagement. And some companies are looking into implementing a continuous feedback performance culture, but that doesn't mean it will address the engagement issue. As a matter of fact, only half of the executives understand how to address this issue. Recommended development actions need to build a career path or career recommendation or career mobility visibility to the employee to truly retain your best talent. You need to be able to show them a path towards their future and give them options, because today's worker is not always looking for a linear path. 76% employees expect some kind of a career growth and development in their organization. And it could be climbing up the traditional career ladder or climbing the career wall we declared recent years. Go any direction based on their interest and the skills. Employers need to provide employees some sort of tools that they can track their activities to identify where they can go next and to recommend what is the best fit for them as well from career perspective. In 2020, the roles of employees at every level and in every organization have changed in some way or another. Whether the crisis has forced people to pursue entirely new career paths or simply re-explore the path that they're already on, people are feeling the pressure to take stock of their skills and figure out what new skills they may need to be valuable to their organization. Moving forward, we believe the events of 2020 have sparked a sense of autonomy and personal accountability in employees to take their development into their own hands. We have seen more workers take online learning and development courses this year to uplevel their value they bring to their organization. In Cornerstone, we do form our personalized development plan during our one-on-one conversation, or traditionally performance review based on the skill or competency gap we have been evaluated, and then identify and create a clear career path to help us to successfully grow. This particular progress is also deployed or powered by our AI engine to creating more personalized experience and recommendation based on skill assessments. Career path recommendation can also leverage more on the traditional pattern and both of the power in the AI and traditional pattern. So people will be really explore any particular recommended alternative career path outside their traditional vertical, even function path, and then tap into some skills that they really currently have and can help them to grow into different direction in their career and enjoy using their strengths to learn more as well. People and the business are looking for new ways to adapt in highly volatile markets, and skills will become the currency which will drive the change. So part of the development activities are learning, right? Linked directly back to Cornerstone Learning Management System, employees can directly conduct the learning on the same page to track their development plan progresses. We have seen more workers taking online, as I just mentioned, online training and development courses this year. The modern workforce now really need many different kind of device to help them to drive their learning. And the learning should be ready for mobile. Let learners to search, browse, and access content or download it offline use. It's like what they do day to day, consume any content in their daily life. Keep all of your valuable information secure with single sign-on or biometrics or passcode security. This can also make sure that your corporate learning can be separated from the day-to-day content consuming. The best managers in the world are architects of effective coaching conversations. They create moments where genuine dialogue can occur, where employees feel their opinions matter and like they are cared about in a unique way. In addition, great managers can create a continual learning environment that encourages employees to openly collaborate, and they aren't held captive by their performance management system tools or metrics. Listen and focus on level of individualized development that can only be achieved by deep familiarity with employees' strengths and aspirations. Now, come back to the transitioning that the Cornerstone is going through for our performance review process. Without a rating, what about pay for performance? What we're going to do with our bonus and compensation? Are we going to get adjusted fairly? It's a big question. Sorry, it's my mouth that's not working. Okay, sorry about that. So discretionary compensation decisions will still align with Cornerstone pay for performance philosophy. So when we design this process, we still will have senior leaders continue to partner with their frontline managers to make fair decisions in their performance budget relative to market factors and any individual development and performance achievement. Managers will participate in a talent review, which you can see like 9 box as in the screenshot, with their senior leaders to holistically assess and calibrate each employee's level of performance against their goals. How they demonstrate the company's core value and the capabilities and skills and competencies for their job as well as their potential. This process can also streamline with AI recommended successors to ensure the health of the critical position pipelines within your organization. Last but not least, the compensation adjustment process can be streamlined in the system as well. So talent view, review data, or traditionally performance ratings can automatically pull in into the system and calculating a more friendly and secure UI for managers to complete the reward process for the team. And we can complete our entire performance process transformation leveraging the technology and ensure we identify, track, develop, and reward our talent within our organization. At Cornerstone, our North Star has always stayed true. We believe people can achieve anything when they have the right development and opportunities. Organizational change and transformation starts within your people. All this to say, 2020 has come to an end. While the year has presented itself challenging to say the least, it has also promoted many of us to consider how we can make an impact on our collaborative future. 2020 has accelerated the inevitable changes and forcing the industries, companies, and most importantly, people to adapt all these changes over a considerably short amount of time. I'm looking forward to experience a complete revamped quarterly conversation process in Cornerstone and hope our technology can also help your organization as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dina. Okay, so a couple of things that I can grab from your presentation is HR could also evolve and innovate along with the industry, or even as fast as the industry. And then effective coaching, despite of the setting, yeah, effective coaching would need something beyond performance. So therefore, real communication and conversation is needed. Managers as coaches, so that we can closely review the performance and then recognize and collaborate in real time would also help performance. Show our employee the future of their career development and show them that they can achieve their career based on their skill and interest. And the last thing would be make them be able to track their performance. Awesome. Okay, so it seems that we also have our third speaker today, Mr. Mark Theo. So, okay, so I think that we are going to go to our third speaker today. So I would like to introduce Bapak Mark Theo, the Partner Executive Director of Deloitte Consulting. Mark Theo has extensive experience in organization transformation and developing new operating models for large corporations and organizations in the oil and gas, mining, transportation, infrastructure, telecoms, government, and financial services sectors across Asia. Previously, he was the managing director in Accenture, a management consulting resources operating group in Indonesia for 18 years. And as we see, Mark is already here. Mark, would you please share us your wisdom in the next 15 or 20 minutes, please?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Joe, for the introduction. I do appreciate it.
Oh. Okay, Mark, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. I didn't realize that was a nice little intro. So very, very happy to be here. I have some materials that we're just going to go through and talking and sharing about working and performing in the new normal. So if we can just ask the committee to just maybe share some of that material, we can go through that in about 15 minutes. Okay, if we can go up, I think that's not the first slide, to be honest. Oops. So I think, while we're waiting for the material to be put on the screen, I would like to really talk about the experiences that each of us has been having, right, as we've been going through this past 9 months. And if we go to the next, do I have control of the slides? Yes, okay. So if we go to the next slides, the next few slides really just tell us about how life has really changed, right? Because each of us has had to adapt to a new reality of working with disruptions, working with distractions, and having to deliver something somewhat similar and even sometimes more intensive levels of outputs. And like each of us has adapted differently, and each of our teams has adapted differently. And from Deloitte, we've actually done a little bit of research in terms of what is it that is really happening in terms of the the realities on the ground. So if we keep going, next. Yeah, it's just nice little photos of how working from home has changed us. Next. Okay, so if we look at the realities of what has changed, right, and if we keep going next, I think this is actually supposed to play through. If we go to slide 9. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. So what would we want to just highlight about some of the research that we've done? Really, there were quite a few significant impacts from a productivity standpoint on whether working from home has changed sort of the levels of productivity. There's been, from a positive perspective, quite a bit of response that things have been more productive, right? Because either people are spending less time commuting, people are having the ability to focus. There is the ability to really leverage a sort of a work styles that are more suitable for each individual, right? And so there's been, like we said, a 13% increase of productivity. However, even with all of these sort of increase in productivities, there is some, I would say, negative responses in terms of what people are facing and the challenges that teams and individuals are looking at, right? So there's been a significant increase in terms of the time that people are attending meetings. There's been a significant increase in terms of the length of your workday. And even from just empirical evidence, when I speak and talk to teams across the region, people are just saying, it's a call after call after call, and there's no break, right? And we're all on Zoom, just like we are now. The size of the meeting has become larger and sometimes less productive. The amount of work activity that's after hours has increased tremendously. That has impacted, I would say, the engagement of teams, and part of the sort of the direction that I'm just going to go through is really about how do we make sure that even with the combination of new ways of working and the new normal, and this is going to continue, how can we continue to make sure that we continue to manage the performance of our teams, continue to make sure that our teams are engaged, continue to make sure that there's going to be sufficient development opportunities for our people and our teams. Okay. So if we go to the next slide, please. So what we have seen is really about how we can rethink the way that we sort of organize work, how we look at our workforce, and really about how we can adapt our workplace, right? So one of the things that we have seen is as you are going to be moving into virtual teams, leads, managers, they need to be able to address the work by making it, when I say more visible, by being more clear, having a better sense of clarity about what is that task and work that is going to be entailed. Feedback is also something that is extremely important, especially in this environment. In order for teams to feel engaged, in order for them to have the right levels of performance, they need to have frequent and timely feedback in a more, I guess, structured manner compared to if we are still working in the in a normal sort of performance cycle. The workforce obviously will also need to be relooked into it, and when we talk about having the workforce, there is going to be a new sense of the way that the teams are being put together. We will be providing a lot more opportunities for people to either have the ability to work on a contingent basis. There's going to be more opportunities for part-time work, because as you know, with the sort of the remote workforce, and also with the situation in many countries of a lockdown where children need to be homeschooled, there's a lot of stress on that. Many organizations are providing a sort of a inclusive environment by allowing mothers, for example, to go to a part-time working arrangement, right? Also, what we've seen and seen quite successfully is making sure that there are structured outreach in terms of the well-being of the employees, whether it's going to be providing the tools, whether it's I've seen the sort of standing there, some sort of digital enablements for people to get connected, but also structured outreach in terms of support for the workforce. And the third thing that we are looking at that is coming quite I would say high priority and being quite critical in terms of success as we are moving towards this success of the new normal, is making sure that that there is a redesign of the workplace. And the workplace obviously will need to have that the alignment to all the health and safety requirements, but also having that ability to connect, so what we would say face-to-face, virtual, and contingent teams at the right space and the right times. Now, that would, there's a reconfiguration of some of the workplace. There's going to be some sense of, perhaps creating workplaces that are distributed. So where we've seen some of our organizations that have been quite successful, they have come up and said, as we move towards the recovery, we are no longer going to create a central office location. We are going to move towards a hub and spoke model with satellite offices for people to connect as required, while still allowing a lot of organizations to continue to work, with that combination of remote and virtual. So if we look at how the workforce and the workplace is actually being redesigned, how is that actually going to impact the sort of, the performance management, right? So if we keep going to the next slide, please. Oh, sorry, this was actually about work, right? So, and I believe, some of the other presenters would probably have shared about how, you would be leveraging technology, making sure that you're tracking. But I think one key thing is really about, if I can, bring your attention to the portion on the right-hand side, it's about the progress reporting. Because as I mentioned, one of the things that is key in terms of providing that feedback is we want to make sure that everyone gets a sense of understanding how they are contributing towards the work that all the teams are working on. So whether you're going to be working on a in this case we're showing a Scrum band, right? Whether you're going to be working in an agile manner and then taking through and showing certain mechanisms, what's important is we actually allow people to understand that they see their progress, they see the contribution that they're making, and their managers and their leads can also at a glance see where the progress is going. I'm not sure whether some of you have read about some of the concerns that some companies have about as you move towards a remote working environment, tracking the time and work of employees. And of course, there are digital tools available to do that. But what we feel is it's better to empower your employees, pull them into the mechanism rather than installing sort of tracking software on their computers or anything like that. Let them understand and let their teams interact in a way that shows how the work is being conducted, and people are seeing their progress, the tasks, and it's a great fun if you to work together in a team. And even as a virtual team, you have a virtual stand-up on a daily basis, and you can actually say where are some of the the progress, and people can work together, and they can actually annotate their progress, and it helps to create that combination of engagement and also makes it a little bit more fun. Okay. So if we go to the next slide, please. So the reality is, we've also seen a lot of, I would say, a little bit of pushback from organizations in relation to the engagement levels of their teams, right? And there has been some organizations where they've seen a significant dip in terms of the engagement and outputs from their employees. What again we want to sort of reiterate is that as you are going to be able to drive through to make sure that your teams are working effectively, we want to be able to create what we call that sort of the adaptable and an agile organization, because really that's what's going to be important to help drive the effectiveness of virtual and hybrid teams, right? So the teams would be purpose-driven. They would have that sense of fun. They would bring in the innate creativity. But more important is that sense of autonomy and empowerment, because you don't want to be constantly tracking your teams. You don't want your managers to be constantly pinging you on whichever messaging software that you're using. Are you doing the things? Are you working? And managers having that sense of suspicion about their teams. What you want is you want to have that empowerment and autonomy to individuals, so that that each incremental pieces of work that gets pushed forward, the team comes together, they see it, they can get that sense of progress, and that helps as a collective to push it forward, so that you have that connection and that collaboration across the entire organizations in your network of teams, so that you can move towards the missions that are going to be important to you as an organization. And if we go to the next slide, we have a case study, and this is a case study of an organization in Indonesia that was was very successful in moving towards virtual ways of working, and they were already in the progress of setting up sort of a digital platform, making sure that their teams were going to be more agile. But when the pandemic hit and the lockdown hit hit Indonesia and obviously all the countries around the region, the shift to a completely virtual and what we call virtual agile setting for this organization was fairly seamless. And very important, I think, is the fact that having that ability to quickly pivot allowed a sense of what we call the virtual prioritization, so that this organization was able to respond to the demands of the pandemic. They were able to have business outcomes, releasing product lines that were relevant to the situation, recession-proof packs that they were able to push through to their various, their channels. And they did this all with virtual agile teams. So everyone was working virtually collaborating across their supply chain, collaborating across all the different functions of their organization, and they were able to achieve, as I mentioned, the desired agility in terms of the business outcomes to see real bottom line impact. Next. So, one of the topics about, this conversation was really about sharing about the performance management and how, we want to make sure that, even in this new normal, how do we make sure that there is going to be performance management and the right sets of performance management? And this comes back to the theme of what I was saying. If you're going to work in a new normal, you need to make sure that there is continuous performance management, the ability for people to have transparency, clarity of objectives, clarity of tasks, the ability for them to feel empowered, the ability for them to have ongoing check-ins. You need to support this with simple, easy to use tools, and that allows you to have the performance management so that managers and teams and leads, they can understand the linkages between the work that they're doing, the work that they need to pivot towards, and their own personal levels of rewards. And having an ability to have continuous performance management and constant feedback allows organizations to really work in this sort of agile and new manner that we need people to sort of operate in and operate successfully. If you go to the next slide, please. So this is again, some parts in terms of some of the the surveys that we have run, where we are saying that vast majority of the organizations are saying that sort of annual performance cycles are not either objective or really that effective in driving performance. And as we are now have this opportunity to work in sort of highly productive virtual and agile teams. Really what we would recommend is most organizations should shift towards an ability to have this constant and frequent performance management, and those companies that have moved towards that, we have seen direct improvements in engagement, the engagement of the employees. The processes are often much simpler. It's a process where enabled by technology, enabled by tools, but it takes away the sort of the administrative burden of an annual cycle of collecting all this information and putting it together. It allows you to actually drive it, and people can see it in the right way. And more importantly, employees actually appreciate it more because they feel that the quality of feedback that they're getting is first of all timely, and it's in the it's of the inputs that are going to help them develop both as from an individual perspective, but as well as aligning with the direction that they need to get to support their organization. Okay. Next. And one of the other things that we've seen, and you need to make sure that obviously people have work in an agile manner. They have the right insights, the right inputs. But I really encourage also each and every one of us to make sure that we focus on the team's physical and mental well-being, and looking at some of sort of engagement. There are many ways of engagement. Some of these things are sort of virtual challenges, bringing the team together, in this case making coffee together. But there are many sort of virtual activities that you can do to continue to maintain that sense of collaboration and well-being. And next, the one part that I'm going through fairly quickly in terms of sort of the sharing is also about as we are working through and working in new ways and working in sort of virtual teams. One key thing is really to make sure that as we focus on the ability for our teams to connect, and we are giving them the feedback, we are giving them the support. We need to make sure that they're also being given the ability to learn, to be able to address whatever areas of development that could have been provided through that constant feedback. And one of the the ways that we are seeing is really sort of AI powered learning experience platforms, right? And there are many out there, and I'm sure some of our fellow panelists will have something else to say on this. But what we would recommend is we make sure that we have that ability to give tailored learning experiences to individuals so that they can see what is it that they can do based on the areas of development, based on the directions that they need to go to, based on their sort of desired career pathways. They are able to see the almost an individually tailored learning experience delivered virtually and digitally. So I would, if we have not investigated that, I would definitely recommend you to investigate that as a path forward to continue to support and help your teams. Next, please. So really, I leave you, and I think I've taken up my 15 minutes with some, quotes from some time back. What Winston Churchill said during World War II. Really, never let a good crisis go to waste. This is an opportunity. It is an opportunity for all of us. It's an opportunity, as a human capital professional in Deloitte. I see this as opportunities, of course, with many challenges, but really, I think if we think about it as an opportunity for us to move towards a new way and more sustainable ways of working, whether it's through the workforce and the workplace, we have the ability to create a much more sustainable and engaged ways of working, rather than just moving backwards and when the vaccine comes out and we all go back to work, going into a situation where it's an enhanced version of yesterday. I would recommend that we all look at the opportunities that we have, bringing in new ways of performance management, bringing in more collaborative ways of working, and bringing in that individual and personalized learning pathways for our teams. So that's all I have for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. So my takeaways from Mark's presentation is, the first one would be, while being remote, feedback, clarity, and well-being are still needed. Engage but don't micromanage. Make work visible. Make them do the reporting, but do not spy. Make it fun and meaningful for them, because autonomy, empowerment, and trust is important. And crisis is also an opportunity for us to grow, maybe in totally different direction, but yes, it's a very good opportunity for us to grow. Thank you, Mark, for your presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with our Q&A session. Please don't forget to put the question in the format: your name, your company, and then who would you like to ask, and then your question, so that we could really address your questions properly. And then for those asking for Pa Agus Dwi Handaya, unfortunately, he is not being here with us. But if you do have that questions, we will try to accommodate, and we will try to inform him. We will try to inform him at a later time. And then I'm being so sorry because right now the rain is very much. I have a very big rain, so maybe it will be my voice. You cannot hear my voice very clearly, but okay. So we will go to our first question, and I think this would be. Okay, so I think, Mark, would you mind to answer this? So this is from PLN Jabar, Bapak Pasaribu, Divisi HCMS. Okay, so actually this is, his question is directed to Bapak Agus Dwi Handaya, but his question maybe have a little accordance to your presentation. So, okay, he is asking like this: is if we are doing the performance review in a very different manner with the usual one. So I mean the usual one is like a yearly performance review, and then now we are moving to a monthly, even maybe quarterly performance review. Will you? How do we measure the KPI for each of employee? Is it split it monthly, or is it split it in a very different way? How do we measure and how do we monitor that? Please, Mark, share us your thoughts about this.
So we have seen organizations where they have, they do their KPIs still on an annual basis, but then they break it down to sort of half yearly. And we've also seen organizations where they have, continue to just keep their KPIs on an annual basis, but have more frequent check-ins to see whether you are making, you are achieving those KPIs. I think it comes down to the sort of the direction that you want to get to. What I'm saying here is you want to make sure that people get the feedback on a regular basis, on what we call the continuous basis, whether it's with your teams, whether you are working on a in an agile manner in sprints, and you are after each sprint you're going to get some input. Those inputs should collectively build up to your KPIs as necessary, right? It's not you have to devolve your KPIs into each sprint, for example. You're not going to do that, right? Because you will have certain things that you are trying to achieve out of each sprint. You are going to be checking to see whether you've achieved some of these things, whether it's customer engagement, whether it's going to be some targets and specific targets that you're trying to achieve. Those things will collectively build up to fit your KPIs. Some organizations, as I said, they split their KPIs. Into some even to quarterly, but generally they still keep it to between half yearly or annually from a KPIs perspective. But the feedback cycles are continuous.
I see. So whatever you put your KPI, which is yearly or even semesterly or quarterly, but the feedback process, you need to do it as continuous as much as possible. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so we are going to go with the second question here, and I think this would be for Miss Dina, because I believe that learning is also part of feedback, and we can learn something from learning. So giving feedback is one of the things that has an impact in building work engagement between organization and employees. What are the examples of feedback that we can give in this new normal during this pandemic? And what basic competencies should an HR have during this pandemic? From Ibu Apriliana. Ms. Dina?
Yeah, hi. Thank you. That's a great question. I think we have already seen that a lot of the pandemic is a huge test for our HR practitioners and professionals on reacting on this event. We really need to be more agile, and we need to be really understanding what is the employee need. The feedback itself can be continuously and frequent, but we need to also drive the feedback based on the employee what they are looking for, what they are really stressing about. So we have seen a lot of employee engagement survey that have raised a lot of the issue on mental health, on remote working, on this immediate items that we need to address. And this is where the HR professionals need to start and see what is the best remote working policy that potentially even related to compliance and health the issues. And also from mental health, we have seen that with the number, if you remember, 85 are stressed. 85% of the employees are stressed and have a mental health issue. And this is something we really need to address as well. Now, how to address it from feedback or engagement survey perspectives? Giving feedback is also about receiving their feedback too. Employee feedback or engaged survey will help the HR to make a lot of decisions on where they should go, what decision they should make, what change they need to pivot into their policies to help the employees. And that also related to learning. We have seen Cornerstone actually is a huge learning management system. It's a Deloitte, Mark have mentioned. We actually also have LXP, a learning experience platform as well. One of the big thing about this, we see in the trend that the remote working related training and mental health related training have been increased drastically for the past year. A lot of the new content coming to the market, a lot of we actually immediately also reacted to it and curated a lot of work class level content related to those topics to release to our customers. So this is really what we see when you react, and also you need to proactively getting feedback from the employee to identify what is the items that the organization really needs. So I really encourage the HR professionals to do more frequent employee surveys now to really understand what the employee needs.
So, okay, so HR should have the best understanding of their employee, right? So one of the ways employee survey. Okay, so that is actually the question of one of our participants here, that is there any survey or current best practice for best employee engagement program initiative during these days, during this pandemic days here? To all of our to all the panelists, if you would like to answer, Mark or Dina.
There are many, and yes, there are. So
yeah,
I don't know whether there's what you would call a best one. I mean, there are many engagement initiatives, and I think engagement surveys, and you can go from the simple ones of just using a tool, right, out there that's freely available, and getting people to put in that inputs, to ones which align with certain things around your, say, company culture or company values. My suggestion is you should determine what is it that you are very keen to identify, so which dimension that you really want to look at in terms of identifying for your employees. Now, whether it's going to be some aspects of your the company culture or company values, I would recommend you get the surveys tailored to align with some of these, right? And in terms of the actual tools out there, there are significant and many good tools and providers.
Yeah. I totally agree with Mark. I think the survey is really need to be tailored and aligned with your company value and company culture, and also particularly a current situation, right? You probably identify a lot of, like COVID, we see remote working, we see people's productivity dropping. These are immediate items that you want to draft questions to really understand why this is happening, what is happening, and what the employees feeling, right? There will be related to satisfaction, there will be related to if the company is providing enough for them. So there are different kind of sector of the questions you can post out as the survey. My suggestion also, I think survey is not only about sending out the survey, but you need to make the survey that easy to complete, easy to finish. It's not something that the employee feel is burden. If the employee say, "Oh my God, that's another 10 minutes of my time. This is too much," right? Something easy, something they click on their email, go directly, launch out 5 questions, maybe even 3 questions to help you really address some key questions. And maybe it can be frequent. You maybe have a burning question you want to ask, and it could last 5 minutes. Spread out in a month time or 2 month time. Maybe every week or every 2 weeks, give a 3 question out. That give you still the results that you want to see, but the employees still feel you care about them, but not giving them additional burden that they have to carry.
Okay, thank you, Dina. So identify the needs, and then identify the needs that you really need. And also don't make the survey as a burden. That's a very good take. Thank you. Thank you to Mark. And then I think this one should be for Dina.
Okay.
Okay, so what would be the adequate measure that we can safely assume that our remote learning is effective? I mean, people can say that this is a fun learning. This is a very good presentation. The trainer is awesome, but how can we safely assume that our remote learning program is effective and also beneficial for the organization, of course? Please.
Yeah, so traditionally, learning effectiveness is measured by survey. So when you complete the training, you can naturally launch out a simple survey to really evaluate how is the trainer, how is the program. But right now, I think a lot of people are more toning on collaborative kind of activity. If you purely just enroll them to training, complete by have a survey, it's very linear. There's no collaboration, there's no discussion. So having a kind of forum type of a community type of collaborative learning environment potentially can help all the learners can continue the discussion that the coming from the courses, and they can also continue to learn, or even the trainer can continue to share ideas, opinions, and discussions through this kind of environment. So the learning become not linear anymore. It's a true collaborative environment. And you know how our people really like social now, right? Everyone is socialing, and that's probably the best way for people to learn, especially everyone's attention span is only about 7 seconds shorter than a goldfish's memory. So it's something that I think that collaborative, like blended kind of training format will help with effectiveness.
Yeah. If I can add to what Dina has said. So
sure, Mark.
I mean, I think if you look at exactly that, right? Traditionally, learning effectiveness was measured on the Kirkpatrick scale, right? Five levels of Kirkpatrick, and that's a very traditional aspect, right? The first 3 levels is really the survey, and then the next 2 levels is about whether your boss and your company sees the outcomes. Yeah. But now it's not just about that, because the reality is when you are going to have that you are going to struggle to have that direct correlation between the sort of the learning programs that you're going to be having, and you actually need to bring in that excellent point from Dina about the collaboration, because if you're going to be able to see that your learning programs are going to be heavily recommended, right, and from a social perspective, whether it's your internal social media or your outside social media, right, and if you start seeing that there's that ability to almost viral the learning program, you're going to be discovering that these are things that truly matter. And if you take that aspect of it, and then you can actually move straight away to the Kirkpatrick level 5, right? Because if people are going to be saying that, you know what, if I want to do that task, I need you to go and take that piece of learning, right? People are going to straight away. And that's where some of the things about the LXPs and the AIs, they can push it to you. I think that makes a difference.
I see. Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, so this next question would be from couple of our participants, but I'm trying to sum this up as one question. So the question would be something like this: what could be the challenge that some leaders and also maybe some employees would and could face with the changes from traditional annual performance review and to this new model of continuous performance? What could be the challenge from these changes of well, the first few would be from the performance review, and then from the second few would be from the learning way, new way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please, Mark, would you please share your thoughts about this, and then maybe Ms. Dina could also share.
Okay.
Sure. So let me start first. So what are some of the challenges? A lot. The first challenge, I think the first challenge, and I think this is one where it's really about the supervisors. Supervisors need to know that it's moving to a new way of thinking, and you can't park your feedback to your team at one and compile it right at the end and give them that annual feedback. You need to have the ability to be transparent, to be objective, to give important feedback at the time and place where it's going to where it makes sense. Now the problem for that is it's often a bit uncomfortable for people to give that true continuous feedback, because you'll be working with this person and you need to continue to work with them effectively, and after one sprint, after the next sprint, you need to continue to keep working with them. So how do you make sure that you are able to give that objective feedback in a way that's going to be received well in a positive and constructive manner by the team members? So I would say that would be I would say the first main challenge that you need to organizations will be facing. It's really sort of flipping the mindset for the team leads, or flipping the mindset of the managers. Leadership really needs to flow down to all levels.
I see. So leadership plays a good role in this, right? Okay, so Ms. Dina, do you have any thoughts about this?
Very resonate with Mark's comments on the leadership sponsorship, right? The leadership sponsorship is always, leadership campaign is better than anything. If your boss is doing that, you potentially would do the same thing to the team. So if your exact team is doing that, so your team. So leadership sponsor is essential. And I think also we need to have this the coach methodology as well, right? So the leadership is doing that, but the leadership need to also coach their mid-management how to do that, and you really have a good example. And I think this is where HR team need to come in with their professional opinions and the trends that we have learned in the industry, that provide maybe good templates, provide some examples, provide some trainings on this to help with all this coach become a coach themselves and can coach the lower down management team as well. And I think this will definitely help the managers more comfortable with the change as well, right? Anytime there's change, it's because it's not comfortable anymore. It's not necessarily they know it's good or it's bad. It's more about how comfortable they're conducting this. Another thing I think is very important is to address some burning questions when you change performance reviews. For example, there are a lot of companies that don't use performance rating anymore, like Cornerstone. We don't use rating anymore. Then how are you going to pay me? Am I going to get my bonus? Am I going to get my, my pay for performance bonus or salary increase? You need to also communicate all this process clearly and transparent to the employee as well, right? They need to really understand this is going to not impact my reward process. I'm still going to be paid if I'm a good performer. I'm just actually leveraging this performance review process to really identify where I can go further in the company. So that's, you change that mindset, people will see the value of the performance review and it will propose to change with the company, right? Will help the change with the company as well.
I see. So many things to be done here. I see. Yeah. It's very challenging, and also it makes a bit of reflecting our latest culture. I mean, our usual culture, our old culture maybe doesn't support us to do the change, but since this is needed, well, maybe we cannot afford this. Okay, so we are going to go for the next question. I believe this is for Ms. Gina. Okay, some remote learning challenges that I have observed are about scheduling, which is sometimes some meetings and the training are at the same time. And then some of them are poor in content, so the participant lost interest of it. Technical issue like internet speed and then inadequate peripherals. Distractions are everywhere in the house. So what could probably be more challenging than that, and how can we manage this better? Would you please share your thought, Dina?
This is really good because I have two cats. I was so worried today that my cat's is gonna jump in and start to speak instead of me, right?
I know.
So I think this is where we also can see the future of learning is not only about virtual events, virtual in time type of learning. We're looking at learning are also e-learning content and also collaborative type of learning, also just kind of shadowing just in on the job type of training. There are different types of training that we should blend in. So again, also, how can we control the content as well? That's where the content effectiveness come in. And you probably will see there are a lot of pre-built libraries in the market right now with very good quality of content skills and that immediately need in the company. You can actually source all this kind of content as well. And some of the platforms will actually allow you to curate content as well based on who has already completed this training, what they have achieved, or who have rated the better. Based on all this data, the big data machine learning will help you to curate what is the best content that you should consume. And this content is not only just a virtual type of immediate training, but also maybe e-learning. You can learn at your own pace. You can learn at your own location and ease when you need. So there's a lot of ways to go beyond just virtual kind of classroom training type of a training. In the market, there are actually a lot of vendors and providers providing this kind of platforms and solutions as well.
I see. So some degree of freedom is also needed. I mean, the way you manage your own training, the way you manage your own time about doing the learning program is also needed to be the program to be successful. I see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dina. Okay, so this should be for the panelists. HR digitalization in manufacturing is tough to be applied to all employees considering the level of technology exposure and education of operator is vary. What is the initial best way to overcome to make this live? Maybe I should give this to Mark first, and then Dina, if you could add the. Okay, Mark.
Sure. So understand, for in sort of operational environments, often there is a challenge, right? Where we found some success in the past, and honestly, I can say that we're working with a lot of organizations as they're moving towards digital services for HR services. In the past, and I use the word quite deliberately, in manufacturing plants, you would typically set out kiosks, right? You would set out terminals or kiosks, shared terminals that you will allow your operators to go and use, right, as required. Because in the past, again, I use the word, there was obviously a lack of ability to push down that full technology capabilities, and the networks will have some issues, etc. But the reality is right now, almost everyone, really has a mobile device, right? Even if it's a simple mobile device. And most of the platforms right now provide that mobile ability to do, mobile-enabled services, whether it's going to check your payroll, check some of those things, apply certain things. I would encourage, and the reality is, our population is so mobile savvy, right, that you really don't need to spend more time training them, right? Everyone knows how to use Instagram, right, and everyone knows how to use TikTok nowadays, right? So, if we're gonna go to that stage, I would encourage us as we're going through. For certain maybe sensitive transactions, yes, still go with the the kiosk or the official workstation. But for the less sensitive HR processes and transactions, please take on the the mobile channel and definitely launch that to your employees, even if they are in on the shop floor or in the they are sort of the line workers, because generally they will have a mobile device, and generally they can do it at their own pace and leisure.
Thank you, Mark. Tina?
Yeah, I'm again resonate with Mark. He just mentioned mobile, right? Mobile is probably essential for a lot of on the floor type of employees to be able to easily access any digital kind of a transformation platform that the employer is using. But I think another thing about mobile is for manufacturer, there's a lot of potentially compliance training, right? A lot of the people on the floor need to immediately do some training, need to be able to record the training that they've done, and they need to meet the compliance results. You need to make it easy for supervisors and the employee themselves to very easily go through that, the compliance process. So one of the things is you need to have compliance, potentially content, more in the we can bite-sized training or micro training, right? It's smaller, more to the point, and easy for them to consume, and then also deliver on the mobile so they can easily record everything. So this is, and sometimes this so-called mobile may even need to have offline capability, because some of the manufacturing facilities, and for example, some of our customers is oil. They are oil platform in the middle of the sea. They wouldn't have Wi-Fi all the time, but they need to be able to record. So they need to have this kind of devices to be able to record the things and come back. So when it's easy to use like that and suitable for all the environment, you find the right platform to support that process will be easier for your digital transformation as well.
Thank you, Tina. So it's all about taking the first step, which should be the right step, but it doesn't have to be that big. So people could digest these new changes as they with their own pace. I mean, yeah, maybe something like that. So make it easier for them, not for you as the program holder. So make it easier for your employees. Bite-sized learning. I have to make sure about this. This bite-sized learning is not all about putting PowerPoint into PDF and then you put it on the cloud, right? It's not like that, right? Okay.
Yeah. Micro-learning actually really about to reduce the time of the training that you have to stay in, but focus on maybe one subject or one objective you want to achieve in that training. We have find this training be more effective compared to the traditional way that you sit in there, watch a video for an hour, or sit there for someone to talk for an hour. People's attention span has been reduced so much. So we see that videos like 5 to 10 minutes get people's attraction. They also understand that particular point that the video is trying to address, or the course trying to address that in that short period of time. So we find it very effective.
Thank you, Dina. Okay, so it's 14:44, so I think this is the time for us to summarize the whole thing. So if the panelists would please summarize in 1 or 2 sentences about our great session today. Ms. Tina or Mark, would you please?
Tina, go first.
Tina?
Thank you.
Okay.
So I really appreciate this opportunity to share some of our ideas and about continuous performance and micro learning. I have the chance to actually talk a little bit of micro learning at the very end of this event. So I really hope that we Cornerstone with our expertise can also join the change that we're experiencing in Indonesia during the 2020, during the pandemic. And I believe that 2020 is not a bad year. It's just a year that accelerates the changes we need to do. We just need to be more agile and then have the right direction. And I think we will all be successful in 2021 as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dina. Mark, would you please?
Yeah, so again, I would say thank you for the opportunity to share with all of you. I look forward, to maybe having further conversations. As I would say, based on the sort of the summary of what I presented, really, I think this is an opportunity for us to build new ways of working, build new ways of how we were going to be coming together as an organization, and we should leverage all the, I guess, the digital capabilities, from, in terms of performance management, in terms of how to work in teams, how to collaborate, how to learn collaboratively. I would encourage each and every one of us to, look at how we can reinvent and innovate the new ways of how we will be working in the future post-pandemic in the new normal.
Thank you very much, Mark. buat Bapak dan Ibu, mohon maaf sebelumnya beberapa pertanyaan tidak bisa langsung dijawab karena memang waktulah yang membatasi kita. Tapi semoga apa yang disampaikan oleh kedua panelis tadi cukup memberikan insight kepada kita semua bahwa ini adalah proses pembelajaran yang baru untuk kita semua. So Mark and Tina, very strong and insightful moment of this session, and I would like to say thank you very much. And
thank you.
To all of us, please do not forget to always put your mask on, wash your hands, stay safe and stay healthy. And thus, I would like to end this session and return this to our MC, Mbak Putri. Mbak Putri, would you please take this away?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you to all speakers, moderator Bapak Heru Kautsar, and all participants for taking part in Indonesia Human Capital Digital Conference 2020. At the end of this event, we have quiz, but before quiz, I would like to invite Bapak Seno Alidamono as CEO on US.ASIA to give a closing remarks. To Bapak Seno Alidamono, the Zoom floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam semangat bagi kita semua. Selamat sore kepada seluruh peserta Indonesia Human Capital Digital Conference 2020. Saya, Seno Adidamono, selaku CEO on US.ASIA, mengucapkan selamat kepada kita semua yang telah mengikuti keseluruhan rangkaian acara konferensi virtual ini. Saya berharap bahwa setiap materi-materi yang sangat berharga dari para pembicara yang sangat inspiratif dan juga ahli di bidangnya dapat memberikan bekal, pengetahuan, dan inspirasi baru bagi kita semua. Seperti kita semua harapkan, apa yang kita pelajari dari sesi-sesi selama 3 hari ini dapat menjadi investasi kita di masa depan. Terselenggaranya acara ini dengan baik dan lancar tidaklah semata-mata hanya karena satu orang atau satu organisasi, melainkan juga karena dukungan yang sangat luar biasa dari pihak-pihak yang juga turut mengambil langkah berani untuk menatap masa depan lebih baik. Secara khusus, kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Indonesia Certified HR Community, e-Kompeten, dan HR Migas Community dalam mendukung acara ini. Dan para pembicara, sponsor kita, Platinum sponsor BRI, Gold sponsor Telkomsel, Bank Mandiri, dan juga Pertamina. Co-sponsor ExxonMobil Indonesia, serta Tokopedia. Media partner, SWA, Katadata, Infobank News, dan Majalah Tambang. Official Internet Partner, Moretelindo, yang telah memberikan dukungan terhadap The Indonesia Human Capital Digital Conference 2020. Dan seluruh peserta yang telah berpartisipasi dalam acara The Indonesia Human Capital Digital Conference 2020 selama 3 hari ini. IHDC merupakan agenda rutin yang digelar oleh On US.ASIA sebagai wadah untuk mencari solusi terhadap berbagai permasalahan terkait human capital serta sebagai bentuk kepedulian dan pengabdian kami kepada negara Indonesia dalam hal pengembangan human capital yang terstruktur, maju, dan berkelanjutan. Sebagai rangkuman dan laporan kami selama 3 hari ini, kegiatan ini telah diikuti 1.300 peserta dari berbagai sektor industri, consumer good industry, fintech, investment, service, oil and gas, chemical industry, miscellaneous industry, university, infrastructure, agriculture, dan para konsultan. Untuk itu, tanpa berlama-lama lagi, saya mengucapkan terima kasih dan mohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya apabila ada yang kurang berkenan dalam pelaksanaan kegiatan kali ini. Semoga tahun depan kita dapat kembali bertemu di kesempatan yang sama dengan cerita yang baru, ilmu yang lebih luas lagi, dan semangat menyongsong masa depan yang berkemenangan. Jangan pernah berhenti berkarya untuk negeri ini. Yuk bisa yuk. Selamat sore dan see you next year.
thank you so much Bapak Seno Adidamono, CEO of US.ASIA for closing remarks. So to all participants, now it's time for quiz. We will give you 5 questions and the answering time for each question will be 20 seconds. The timer will start as soon as the organizer displayed the quiz. We only search 5th winner and the winner will get voucher. And the organizer will share the link to enter the quiz at the chat box. All participants, please check your chat box and please click the link. Participants are required to enter their names in the application according to those registered at these events. So I'm waiting for participants to join this quiz. About 30 seconds. Okay, once again, all participants, please check your chat box and please click the link. Because we have 5 vouchers that we will give it to you for the 5th winner in this quiz. Okay, to all participants, please check your chat box and click the link. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, we're still waiting for you to join this quiz. Okay, so I think everyone is ready. So let me count. 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Okay, for the questions you can see at your device screen. All right, once again, good luck. And as we can see on your device screen, 79 accuracy and still counting. Keep going. The third winner is Nico Aldiano, second winner Widya Sari, and the first place is Dwi Putri. All right. Okay. Congratulations, Bapak Ibu. You can contact the organizer to claim the prize. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all participants, now we're at the end of the event. We would like to convey once again to our sponsors, PT Bank Rakyat Indonesia Persero Tbk as Platinum Sponsor, PT Telkomsel, PT Bank Mandiri Persero Tbk, PT Pertamina Persero as Gold Sponsor, BP Jam Sostek as Silver Sponsor, Exxon Mobil Cepu Limited as Co-Sponsor, and as well Kata Data, Infobank, Majalah Tambang, SWA, 18news.id, and merahputih.com as our media partners. We would like to thank Moratelindo as our official internet partner, and also would like to thank Indonesia Certified HR Community and also HR Migas Community for supporting this conference. And On Us Asia, once again, proudly present this conference for Better Us. I am Piputri For your MC, thank you once again for your participation, and I hope that this event will bring a lot of information that useful and insightful for you. See you next year. Yuk, bisa yuk!
Setiap langkah dimulai dengan mimpi. Mimpi yang tak usang ingin diwujudkan. Mimpi yang selalu hidup kemarin, hari ini, dan esok. Mimpi yang terbentuk berani oleh tangan-tangan kecil kita untuk wujudkan angan-angan yang besar. Karena inilah sejatinya Indonesia. Kita tumbuh bersama sebagai bangsa, ditopang oleh mereka yang berani mengambil langkah. Keberanian yang menjalar ke setiap lubuk hati, tercipta dari jutaan mimpi tiap usaha. Dan di setiap tekad itu, kami ada. Menjadikan nyata setiap asa. Karena inilah besarnya Indonesia. Dengan ragam kisah bergema di berbagai sudutnya. Membentang dari tengah lautan, pesisir, sampai puncak tertinggi. Luasnya negeri terhubung lewat usaha dan inovasi tanpa henti. Mendekatkan tiap jarak dalam genggaman. Memeluk zaman dengan segala kebaruan. Dan dari sentuhan ujung jari,
3, 2, 1.
Kita melesat, menembus langit, menembus batas, tegaskan langkah menuju impian kita. Kami memupuk rasa percaya, pastikan wujud setiap mimpi yang ada. Dengan sinergi berbagai perusahaan anak, tak akan ada kata ragu untuk terus konsisten melangkah maju. Komitmen sepanjang seabad usia kami untuk terus bekerja dan berkembang demi majunya bangsa dan negara. Hingga mencapai lebih tinggi, menjadi yang terbaik. Ini adalah jalan kami untuk terus menjadi yang terdepan. Untuk bangsa dan dunia. Karena di setiap langkah yang diambil, kami meyakini pada tiap mimpi yang kami wujudkan, terbangun kekuatan bagi negeri. Sebab kami hadir untuk melayani. Menjadi sang pewujud mimpi.
Nggak bawa kartu ATM? Pakai Brimo. Tarik tunai di ATM nggak pakai kartu. Login keseruanmu, download Brimo sekarang. Brimo.
Daripada handphone kamu hanya diam tergeletak, kamu sudah coba belum menelpon teman lama dan menanyakan kabarnya?
Halo Jaya. Lagi pusing soal toko.
Pernah nggak bantu posting dagangan baru teman kamu? Pernah coba belanja untuk mereka yang penting buat kamu? Semoga Hari Merdeka di tahun yang sulit ini bukan hanya jadi slogan semata, tapi jadi titik pengingat untuk saling membantu